Welcome everybody to another Snagler Productions Adalo tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about how to create a screen where users can create their own post or comment, or a way to make users be able to put input into a screen and be able to delete it and let other people like it. Okay, so for people who've watched the last videos, I was showing how to make a random picker into an image. I've changed it to this bigger image, just so you know. So our random picker is now right here that goes to quote of the day. As you can see, it has the random picker invisibly overlaid over this, uses a button. Then down here is going to be where our users click if they want to comment or write a post. You know, I'm just pretending to make a quotes app, and I didn't spend very long making these images, so I know they're not perfect or they're not great, but it's just for, you know, to show you guys how this works. So I mean, you can tailor it to whatever your app is about, obviously, but what is your favorite quotes and why? Okay, all I did was link it to a new screen I called user quotes. So when they click on this, they're going to go to our new screen called user quotes. Put an image up here. Okay, but now we're going to make an area down here where they can comment or, you know, write what their favorite quote is, and other people will be able to like it, and they will be able to delete it if they want to. If they don't like it or don't want to keep it. And I'll even show you how to make it to where they can't like their own posts and all that good stuff. The first thing we're going to need to do is put an input box in. So we got text input. Place text holder. It's just going to be, I'm just going to leave it as enter text actually for right now. I like to make these multi-lined so they don't have to scroll up if they write more than one line of text. So we're going to make that a little bigger, and right here where it says multi-line, turn it on. That way it's more than one line. Now they can type, that looks like 3 or 4 lines probably. Where is that at? I'm going to round it a little bit. I like things to be round instead of square. Okay, so we have our input box right here. Next thing we're going to need to do is put a button to submit this. I'm just going to name it submit. You can make it look better, of course. Alright, now we're going to have to build the database for whatever it is that they are inputting. So we're going to go to databases, add a new database, collection. We're going to call it user quotes. Under name, it's going to be full name. That's what my app is using, full name, not usernames. You can look at the databases if you want under your users and see what it's saving that as. It has username and full name, but if you actually look at the records, there's nothing under username and it's under full name. So that's what we'll be using, is the full name. So we have their name, full name. Add a property. It's going to be a text also. It's going to be the quote. I'm actually going to change that to user quote just so we're not confused. Okay, we're going to add another text. It's going to be user email address. I'm just going to put it as email. The longer you make these, the harder the titles, the harder it makes it in the future, and you'll see why. Okay, so we have their name, the quote, the email. What else do we need? Okay, well, we'll find out. we're going to submit the text. And what we're going to do, make this submit button, the action on it, create user quote. Okay. The full name is going to be logged in users full name user quote. That's where the input box is going to come into. See, I clicked on this input box right here. If you want to rename it so you know what it is, might make it a little easier for you. Quote input. We just renamed the input box to quote input. Go back to the submit button. So the user quote will be magic text, user quotes, oh no, I'm sorry, other components, quote input. The other components is the input boxes. We just have one right now, so we know it's easy to know. And the email will be logged in users email. Okay, so now when they create a quote and hit submit, it's going to save all three of these pieces of information in the database under create user quote. Now we want a way to display it. All right, the way we do that is we add a custom list. Custom lists are usually the best way to go because you can modify them more. Well, that reminds me, I just now remembered what the other field was. I knew I was missing one. Going back to database, under the database we just made for user quotes, I'm going to add a property, date and time. We're going to call it created date. I knew there was a fourth. Okay. So now we're back to our making our custom list here. What's this a list of? User quotes. You don't really need to sort them and filter them. You can do the newest to oldest. It does that automatically, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so I make it easier to see. Alright, now we have our list. We're going to go components, rectangle. You can make this rectangle a little bigger if you want to. If you're going to make it wider, I suggest you click the whole box instead of the rectangle itself to make it wider, because you don't want the box to go actually outside of the list. Right now we just have title and subtitle. Okay. You can rename these as well if you want to. Like you can change this one to the user's name, which is actually not the username because we're using full names on my. So you'll magic text current user quotes, because we don't want the logged in user now, we want the quotes information. So the current user quotes, full name, under subtitle, just to speed it along, I'm not changing the label name. Current user quotes, user quote, which will be what their quote was or whatever they put into the text box. I'm going to add another text option, put it right here. I'm going to make this one a little smaller. I'll make it semi-bold and red just to splash some color in here. And this is going to be the created date. It'll show how long ago it was created. So the current user quotes, which is our database that we just created, created date. Okay, and that's all we have to do to make a display of what they're going to submit in this box right here. I want to round this a little bit. It's bothering me. I don't crop any image. I make the boxes the right size so I don't have to crop it the right aspect ratio. Okay, looks a little better, I guess. Oh, and you're eventually going to have a top or bottom menu that navigates. I don't ever put the top menus in until the end because the little drop down menus will mess up all kinds of stuff when you're trying to change your user interface, or if you have to modify a screen. For some reason, those stupid top menus like cause all kinds of chaos. You'll try and click somewhere else on the screen, you'll end up in the menu. So I make the menus at the end, but I want a way to get back to the home screen. So temporarily, I'm just going to put a button down here to get out of this screen and back home, which does have the top navigation already. We'll test out so far and make sure everything is working. Loading slow today. Alright. So, what is your favorite quote and why? My favorite I'm just going to write some nonsense for now to test it. Okay, see, we have a problem. It popped up, but the created date didn't show up. So we're going to have to figure out why that was. I'm going to go to my database, user quotes. There should be a record now. See, it automatically makes a created and updated right here, but the slot we made for created didn't have an input put into it, which is a problem with the submit button. Oh, we didn't put anything in the created date. That's why. All right. So the create date would be the current time. We're going to have to delete this quote in order for this to work. Oh, we don't have to actually delete it. We'll just make another one. I love making mistakes because, you know, everybody's not perfect, and it shows you how to fix things when they go wrong. Okay, what's your favorite quote and why? There's one we just made. We'll make another one. Alright, let's see if it works this time. Yep. Okay, see, now we have the created date just now down here in red. So far it's working, right? Okay, input box. Now you're gonna make all this look better, of course. We're just showing you how to do it. It would take hours to make it look perfect. Okay, next thing we want to do is to make a like box so people can like the stuff, right? We'll make it a little bit wider and recenter it. We're going to add, you can use an image or an icon for this, just for because it's easier right now. I'm going to use an icon. making it red, and I'm going to use a heart, which is under favorites, pretty sure. So make it bigger, and you can see it reflects down a mirror down here to show you that it's going to be in all of these boxes in the list. We're going to add text. Okay, this is where we're going to have to add an additional item to our database, our user quotes. Add property, it's going to be a number. We're going to call it likes. Okay, going back to our icon here, add an action that will update the current user quote, the database we're currently using. I only have 2, so it should be pretty easy at this point. It's going to update it. What it's going to do is the likes, the current user quotes, likes, +1. So every time that button is hit, it's going to +1 the like count. That's all it needs to update by clicking this red icon, the heart icon. Now our text is going to be magic text, current user quotes, likes. We'll make it a little bit thicker so we can see it. Okay, let's see if it's working. As you can see, it's off. For one thing, this text is too long and the number's off, but it's working. But the problem is you can leave it like this if you want to. If you don't care if people can like their own stuff and they can hit it 100 times if they want and like it, then you can just leave it like this. But I'm going to show you a way to make it to where they can't hit their own likes. Okay, we're going to fix our problems here. First thing is these texts are too long. They're running into the likes. We don't want that. So we're just going to check each one of these texts and make sure that they are shorter than the like button. And the like was a little too far to the left and too high, so we'll start it right there. That will probably look better. Okay, you can modify it all you want to make it look as good as possible. You don't want to put the likes text right over top of the icon though, because they won't be able to push the button. Like the click action needs space to work, so you don't want the likes to cover up the button or the icon or image or whatever you're using that people are going to push to like it. You want to give them space to where they can hit that button. You can make the heart bigger too, of course. Okay, so we're going back to our icon. And the action was update user quote to add the +1. Now we're going to change it to where the person can't like their own quote. So when does this happen? Sometimes. This action will only happen if the logged in user, let's see, logged in user's email, is not equal to current user quotes email. Okay, this will happen sometimes when the logged in user's email is not equal to the current user quote's email. That's why you have to have the email address in the database saved when somebody creates it, so you'll know who did it. And you can match it back up to actions. Okay, let's see what happens now. See if that works. Since I'm the logged in user that created these, where are you at? Okay, there we go. Now I've had the number too far down into the heart. Okay, but you see I can't add to it now because I'm the guy that created it. Therefore, it's not letting me click it. Let's see what happens if we can log out, log back in under a different account. I just have fake accounts, obviously. These aren't actually real email addresses. Okay, so now I'm under a different account. This is the admin account, so the admin's button's showing up, which I showed in another video how to make an admin screen. It wasn't on the other last user because they're not an admin. Google's mad because I use the word password as my password. Okay, see? And now that I'm logged in under a different account, I can like it, but I can still hit it as many times as I want. But to fix that is very hard, so we're not going to worry about it. If people want to sit here and hit this 100 times, then I say go for it. You can always change it in the database if you want to. Let's make another one to go with this account to show that it'll show a different username. Let's see. I don't know very many quotes off the top of my head. My fingers don't work as fast as my brain. And why is it showing the oldest to newest? Didn't we set it to newest to oldest? I don't know, we can change that. And that one's in the middle. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, that's because the created date was messed up on that one. It didn't have a created date, remember? That's why it's skipping it. So just for continuity, I'm getting rid of it so it's not messed up anymore. I'm also going to move up the likes count a little bit. I just left it as label. You can change all that stuff if you want to. That way it's not quite bleeding into the heart and you can see it better. Okay. So now we have it to where they can create posts, other people can like it. Now we need a way for them to delete it. That way people aren't emailing you all the time, hey, I messed up this quote, can you please delete it for me? Okay, so we're going to add another icon. You just want people to be able to delete their own posts. I mean, it's just common sense, right? I'm going to use the trash can with the X on it for this. It's pretty self-explanatory. Let's move it up just a little bit. blue, that way they can see it. Alright, this is simple. The action is going to delete the current user quote. But you don't want anybody to be able to delete anybody's user quote, so we have to make this icon, the delete icon, change the visibility in it. So we're going to change it to sometimes visible if the logged in user's email is equal to the current user quote's email. So this button was sometimes visible when the logged in user's email is equal to the current user quote's email, which is again why we needed to save the email in the database when they submit it. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, I can't like this because I wrote it, but I can like this one because I didn't. Now you might want to play with these hearts a little bit, move it down or something. But I can delete this one because I did write it. See, it's gone. I made a new one. There's the trash can, but I don't have a trash can on theirs because I didn't make it. But I can like it. Doesn't make a lot of sense why that heart. So this is one of the things about Adalo, stuff moves when you don't think it really should. And it gets annoying sometimes, but you just have to work with it to get everything where you want it and hope it stays that way. I group stuff when I'm done and hope that locks it in better. I'm going to move it down a little bit and make it a little bit bigger. And at this point, this screen is optional, is operational enough that you could leave it alone and it would do what you want it to do just fine. We're going to show a few other things you can do with it though. Okay, first off, you can let's get back to the right section here. You can, when they like it, add an action to send a notification to the user who created the post. Now the only problem with this is the person can hit it 100 times and it's going to send 100 notifications. I don't know if anybody would do that, but I mean, I don't have the notification set up, but you might want to, so I'm going to show you how to do it. This is a push notification, of course. If you wanted to make a notification in somebody's profile, you know, with like a notification count, that's a completely different subject. This would just send them a notification on their phone saying, hey, somebody liked your post. The users is always all. I don't know why, but that's just the way Adalo has it set up. Because the recipient, you don't want to send it to yourself, and you can't anyways, as you see here. So it's users all, and then you're going to have to filter it. When the email is equal to the current quotes email. The current user quotes, the database email is equal to email. So it's going to send it to the user as the same email as the current user's quote email. No, you cannot send notifications to yourself. Maybe you can. I don't know. If you hit all and you're logged in and you're the one that hits it, it won't send it to you. So, oh, dang it. Someone just liked your post. Of course, the screen will be the screen if they click on the notification where it sends them to. User quotes this screen. Okay, so now if somebody hits this and it'll send a notification to the user whose email is equal to the current user quote's email. Like I said, this way it's going to send a notification every time they like it. So if they hit the button a bunch, you might wear somebody out. There is a way around that, but it is super freaking complicated, and I'm not getting into that right now because it would take another 20 minutes to explain it. So basically, I'm going to make a video about how to block people. If somebody starts causing you trouble, you can block them. It's actually a trick. It's not blocking them. We'll talk about that in another video. Okay. Alright, so that's it. I also wanted to show you this submit button right here. It can be linked to as many inputs as you want. You can have 15 inputs on the screen. The only thing is, for each input, you have to have a database slot for it to go to. So let's say, well, I got them backwards. Let's say we wanted to let them give it a title. And I'm going to round it, of course, just a little bit. So we wouldn't want them both to say enter text. So on that one, the placeholder text, we change to title. So they know I'm putting the title in here, and now that we have two, we'd want to change the placeholder text, probably that to quote. I don't know why you'd want to let them have a title in this scenario, but you might in your scenario, so this is how you would do it. The submit button, we'll have to go to the database first and make a place for this input to go. So it'd be another text field. And you could do this for, like I said, you can do 15 inputs if you want. Title. I just rearranged them in different order. So now when they hit the submit button, it will create the user quote. We have a title slot because we added a title option to the database. And where's that's going to come from? See, the quotes input now says quote because we changed it to quote. It's going to be other components. See, now that we have two boxes, we have two choices of what input one button will make. Okay, it just changed this one to quote input. I'm going to rename this one so we know what it is, because they're just both labeled input right now. Makes it confusing. So rename this one to title. So magic text, other components. Now we have the quote input and we have title, because I named that input box title. That's it. So now there would be a title for now on when they put in their input. And you can add a text here. A button. Of course, that would be the title. Let's put it in the middle. It'd be the current user quotes title. We'll make it red too. You can do the centering or the, change the fonts and everything. Line center. Okay, we'll see if it's still working. I'm sorry this has been a long video. We're covering a lot of information though. Okay, what's your favorite quote and why? Now we have a title box. These twos won't have titles because there wasn't a title box when we created them. And now this one has a title. One more thing I want to show you before we end real quick. On the lengths, you can change how long the input box's length can be of somebody how much input you allow them to put into it. It says max length right here. Okay, that's going to go by the number of letters that they're allowed to put in there. So for the title, 50 should be plenty, right? The quote, maybe, where'd it go? Max length, 500. So we put the max length for this one at 500 and this one for 50. And you can test it to see how big that is. So you want to know if you want to make it bigger or smaller. I'm not too worried about the title one. We know it's 50. 50 is probably too long for a title. It's way too long. But okay, you can just hit any number. Hold it down, any letter, number, whatever. And it'll show us how long 500 is. Okay, it stopped right there. Okay, so this is what it would look like if somebody put 500 characters in here. So you might think, well, that's plenty long enough, or it's not long enough, and a space does count as a character. So, it's up to you. I would definitely put a max length though. So we can delete our posts. Unlike this guy's. That was a great one, Snaggler. Good job. I hope nobody has that email address actually. It's a fake email address. I just now thought of that. Might send them a notification. Actually, they don't have the app, so it wouldn't. But Alright, that's it. Any questions, leave a comment. I'll try and cover it in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great day.